Hey, Janet.
Hey, Dean.
Janet, tell folks a little bit about you, and then I've got some hypothetical situations I'm going to drop you into the deep end on.
Sure. I'm a fractional CMO. I've been doing marketing my whole career, which is over 20 years, and that's all I will disclose. Been in marketing, I've done even direct mail since the beginning of the internet, and just sort of, grown from there. I was one of the people doing the things when I was young, and now I oversee the people doing the things now that I'm older. So, yeah.
Direct mail. All right.
Yep, you get really good at lists and
Yeah.
understanding the value of lists
I
from
was
direct
listening to a
mail.
podcast earlier this week, and it was like for a SaaS company, and they were talking about the various like channels that they tried to use. And by far, their two highest ROIs were sales letters and postcards. Their
Yeah, and
postcard ROI was 9 to 1.
well, yeah, because the thing about what I used to tell people is the beautiful thing about a postcard is you have to read it to throw it out.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, so let's think about this first hypothetical. A lot of your work, like a lot of mine, for instance, and I'm not a fractional CMO, is virtual, right? It's remote. But
Yep.
you just started with a new client, new engagement. They're only 5 minutes from your home. And so Monday morning on day one, you're going to actually walk into a place. When you walk into a place, day one, first morning, fractional CMO, what's your dream scenario you're walking into? And what's the nightmare scenario you're walking into?
Yeah, so my dream scenario is walking into a new place with a new client where the CEO is really curious and excited to have me there.
Hmm.
And, they already have a product that works. There's a good product market fix. They already have clients, they've got revenues, they know whatever they're selling actually works because they've been selling it for a while. And the
Hmm.
CEO just wants to get to that next level, just wants to grow. He or she is just like, hey, we've gotten this far, but we really haven't focused on marketing. We're really not sure that our marketing is working because we know we're doing sales, but we don't know where to spend our money. Like that's my ideal client.
And what's the nightmare?
The nightmare client is they say they want that,
Hmm.
but marketing. Like how hard can it be? I've written copy. I've done ads. We are on social media, and like how are we? Like I think I understand it. It's all about the CEO's attitude,
Right.
where they think they know better. So they've hired me, but they think they know better, and they're not really open and curious to trying something new or to look at something new or to understand the data that they have somewhere and what it says.
Right. Okay. So that's day one. Let's jump ahead in this scenario to day 90. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the client's aha moment about you or marketing or fractional CMOs in the first 90 days? But they're like, oh, okay, now I understand.
Yeah. Typically, the first aha moment was, wow, there is data.
Hmm.
And oh, wow, like that's what it's telling me. And oh, wow, that worked. And oh wow, that didn't, did it?
Hmm.
And there's this sort of aha moment of like, we can do that and you can see that. And oh, wow, so we should be doing more of this and we shouldn't do that anymore. And I'm like, uh-huh. And that's what the data will tell you.
Yeah.
It is such an aha moment for them to go, oh, I didn't. It's like, first of all, they didn't know they had the data, and then if they did have the data, they didn't know what to even look at, and
Right.
then it's like, oh, and what's the story that that data is telling me?
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So let's switch scenarios. And now you're on stage. You're the keynote speaker talking to an audience with about 250 fractional CMOs in it. Okay. They all came out of corporate. They all became fractional CMOs yesterday.
Uh huh.
They're brand new to this. And so let's go over like three parts of your speech. And I'll start you off with a sentence and you can finish it with however long it takes you to finish it to like finish that thought. Okay. So the first thing you're saying, wow, you guys are brand new. I can tell you this as a fractional CMO starting out, you're going to be shocked by what?
how much time you spend trying to tell the client it's not about their product.
Mm.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
because yeah, I remember being at Pitney Bowes and
Mm-hmm.
all the engineers were all about their shiny new black box. And I was like, guys, I know you're going to hate to hear this, but it's not about your shiny black box. It's how does that shiny black box make your client's life easier, better, faster, drive revenues, whatever. They don't care about the features, they care about the benefits. Oh, they
Mm.
hate to hear that that it's not about the product. And that will be the majority of your time is literally weaning clients away from it's got to be about the features of my product.
All right. So then that leads into this one then. So you're around midway through, you're saying that, and one something else, folks. Many of your clients just don't understand what.
The importance of understanding their own customers, right? So much time is spent on should we be here? Should we be there? But I thought we
Mm-hmm.
should be here. But my wife looks at this, all the things, not who is your ideal client? Why do they buy your product? Where do they make their decisions? How do they make their decisions? Are other people involved? I mean, there's just so little thought about the process of buying, because I do a lot of B2B, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of B2B is where do they even look for new vendors? Does procurement get involved? Like all these questions about the process of buying your product, not where should we be?
Right on. All right. And so, like, we're at the end of your speech. Some intern is trying to wave you off, right? For raising the music. You just keep talking because you got so much to say to these new fractions. And they're sort of pulling you off the stage and you say, one more thing before I go. The number one thing you should remember about getting clients is what?
The number one thing you should remember about getting clients is being trustworthy
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that for them it's about the revenues, right? I can't tell you the number of marketing people have said, well, but it's about all I have control over is marketing. And my response is, yeah, if you don't even think about the marketing handoff to sales and the revenues you're generating, you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's really about increasing revenues, even though you have no control over sales.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you finish your speech. It's part of a big conference. So now you're out on the conference floor, a bunch of booths and stuff. A lot of prospective clients out there. Okay. So he's just having conversations. People write, hey, I saw your speech, or I saw that you were going to be a speaker. So you're talking to prospective clients. Uh, in marketing, almost every client thinks they know a good bit about marketing. It's just the nature of it.
Yep.
Right? As you're talking to companies these days, what is overrated that they just insist on talking about? And what's underrated that you think they benefit from if they just paid more attention to it?
Yeah. So what's really overrated is this whole content thing.
Yeah.
Well, we have to generate content. It's all about content. And even, like I said, when I was at Pitney Bowes,
Mm-hmm.
content was a really big thing. The problem is the same amount of money that you put into content, you have to put into distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't put the same amount of money into getting the content seen, you've wasted the money that you've invested in the content. So I would say content is one of the more overrated things. The most underrated thing, I think, is the value of a CRM and working with sales.
Yeah.
Because we can generate as many leads as possible, but if we're not tracking where the leads came from, how the leads did, if we're not talking to sales about sales qualified leads, if you're not really working your CRM, if you have one, then you're not really going to get the full value out of the marketing. So content overrated, CRM's underrated.
All right. And then as you're talking to prospective clients, what are some red flags that make you think, oh, I don't know, this, not these guys, or what are some green flags for prospective clients as you talk to them for the first time?
Yeah, I would say a really big red flag is when there's this incredible animosity from sales. If sales isn't willing to even talk to marketing or work with marketing, there is no way marketing can work because
Right.
there's war, right? It's like if engineering isn't talking to marketing and there's product, it's like, well, how is that going to work?
Yeah.
Right? Those are really, really big red flags. And sometimes you can work on those and make them better, but
Mhm.
that's very hard to do from an external perspective as a fractional CMO to come
Right.
in, right, with a peace pipe. Like that's really hard. Um, if sales is really willing, if the CEO can drive the relationships of the different functions working together, and you can have a really good feedback mechanism from sales, and you can have a good relationship with engineering or product, that's actually a really good green light because it means I can make a change, I can affect change.
All right. Good. Excellent. All right. Finally, as we wind down here, this has been great. Thank you so much for being here. Uh, do you have a favorite question or like a vetting question that you like to ask prospective clients?
Yeah, I ask like questions like, "Do you have a budget for marketing?"
Yeah, it's always a good one. Am I your budget for marketing? Like,
Right, right. Because uh, a budget is a big question, right?
mhm,
And I always say, I always love to pull a number, even if people are not really into government. But the Small Business Bureau
mhm,
says at least 6 to 7% of your uh, revenues that you get in should be spent back out in marketing. And I make them look at that number, like, what do you get in sales revenues? Are you willing to spend 6 to 7% in marketing? And if there's a big gulp or gasp, yeah, that's a good starter
yeah,
because marketing is not free. People think, oh, posting emails free. No, marketing is not doesn't have to be really expensive. I've done amazing videos for $1,000
mhm,
creating and distributing, getting tens of thousands of views on YouTube. Yeah, it doesn't have to be hugely expensive, but you have to have a budget.
yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, so Janet, these days, who should be reaching out to you, and how should they do it?
So these days, I love to work with companies that have a product and have a market and know that they have got sales. And I'm best at taking them to the next level. I've even been working with some nonprofits to help them to next level it. I've been working with startups that have some funding that are willing to spend on marketing. And really, those are the organizations that I can do a really good job up
Right.
leveling them to have aha moments of like, oh, we could do that with our marketing. I would say those are the ones, SaaS companies,
Hmm.
for example, events companies. Those are the ones where I can really make a big difference.
And how should people get in touch with you? What's the preferred way?
Thanks, Dean. So the preferred way is Janet at janetgranger.com, or they can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Janet Granger, fractional CMO. Um, and yeah, I look forward to talking to people if they're
All right.
interested in up leveling.
All right. I have one more question that I want to ask, and it comes from talking to prospective clients, and talking to clients, and so I'm
Mhm.
right that kind of experience. Um, like, do you think there's been any sort of like shift in marketing priorities or strategy in the last year or two? I mean, the economy's been all over the place, and there's a lot going on.
I think there's always a shift in marketing, right? There's always trends that come and go. I would say that the biggest shift that I've seen in terms of real dramatic difference is really maximizing video. I
Yeah.
think that video is always going to be head and shoulders above everything else. Creating videos, distributing videos, channels will come and go up and down, but really good videos, I think, are here for a while. And I've really seen the ramp up of videos and the use of YouTube in the past year.
All right. All right. Janet, thank you so much for being here. This has been fantastic.
Thanks so much, Dean. This has been great. I appreciate it.
All right. And thanks for watching. We'll see everyone next time.